Natalie was saying she thought it would be nice if you said, and now the seniors will process in. Do you feel like saying that?
Sure.
I think it's a good idea.
Sure.
I'll tell Abby the change.
All right. Yep. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Mike O'Gary, and I have the privilege of being the head of school here at Friends Select in my 7th year, and you all look stunning. Good morning. First, the faculty and staff will process in, followed by the senior class, but please remain seated as they do so. And now, the senior class. Before we begin, Friends Select would like to acknowledge the land upon which this meeting house stands as part of the traditional territory of the Lenni Lenape, called Lenape Hoken. Lenape people lived in harmony with one another upon this territory for thousands of years. During the colonial era and early federal period, many were removed west and north, but some also remain among the three continuing historical tribal communities of the region: the Nanticoke Lenni Lenape Tribal Nation, the Ramapaw Lenape Nation, and the Powhatan Lenape Nation. We acknowledge the Lenni Lenape as the original people of this land and their continued relationship with their territory. We are assembled for the graduation exercises of Friends Select School. It is my pleasure to welcome you, families and friends, faculty and staff, trustees, students, and especially you, the graduating class, to this special occasion. We conduct these graduation exercises in the manner of friends to mark the importance of meeting for worship to the lives and the learning of the Friends Select community. At this point, I would like to call your attention to the requests enumerated inside the program. Please turn off electronic devices and limit taking videos or photographs so as not to disturb your neighbors. The ceremony is being live streamed and recorded, so you will be able to watch it again if you so choose. If you do take any photos or video, please remain in your seat while doing so. We thank the Ray Street Meeting House for helping us make today possible. To begin our program, we will hear remarks from Chris Singler, Director of the Upper School.
Thank you, Michael. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here with you today celebrating the graduating class of 2023. You may know the Talking Heads song, Once in a Lifetime, where singer David Byrne croons in the opening verse, and you may find yourself living in a shotgun shack, and you may find yourself in another part of the world, and you may find yourself behind the wheel of a large automobile, and you may find yourself in a beautiful house with a beautiful wife, and you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? For many of us in this room who are many years removed from high school, this song may resonate for us, as we understand that life is unpredictable and serendipitous, that life takes detours and circuitous routes, and small decisions can lead to larger habits and inform where we find ourselves in life. For the graduates behind me, you too may be asking yourself, how did I get here? Just 4 short years ago, you were ending your middle school years. If you think about the person you were then at 14 and the person you are today, could you have predicted who you have become? What passions you developed? The friendships you made? The accomplishments you have? Probably not. In schools, there is a predictable pathway from kindergarten through grades 1 to 12, and then on to college, a gap year maybe, work, or the military, the paths that most of you behind me are taking. But beyond high school, the possibilities widen, the pathways become less clear, and the decisions you make, graduates, are yours. Up to this point in your life, your families have held up their end of the deal. They have provided you with shelter, food, love, clothing, a good education, and more. But now it's up to you to hold up your end of the bargain. And what is it you need to do, graduates? I think that's where it's tricky, because the right response for one of you is not the right response for the person next to you. In schools, we hear a lot about grit and resilience and stick-to-itiveness. I admit I'm drawn to and I appreciate these qualities in myself and in others. There are times when we do just have to work harder, push through, lift ourselves up when we get knocked down. However, I'm in the middle of reading a book called Emotional Success by David DeSteno, a psychologist. In it, DeSteno argues that in addition to those more cognitive approaches of grit and resilience, which is essentially using willpower, we need to complement that emotional approach with those of compassion and gratitude and pride, what he calls more of an emotional approach. DeSteno offers that the person you're in relationship with the most is your future self. You are working today for the you in the future. And if you make good choices today, your future self will be full of pride for what the two of you have accomplished. So going back to the Talking Heads, it is true that life will take you to places you may not have seen or anticipated. But if you live with compassion in community with others, if you live with, by finding time to express gratitude, and if you invest in your future self, you will certainly, graduates, have a life worth living and being proud of. Class of 2023, I have absolutely loved spending 4 years with you and watching you grow as individuals and as a class. The most important legacy you're leaving us is that you're leaving Friends Select School in better shape than when you entered 4 years ago, and I thank you for that. Best of luck in the future, and please stay in touch. We are always here for you. Congratulations. It is customary at Friends Select that members of the senior class select graduation speakers from among the class. The first speaker today is Lily Bryn.
Hi. Okay. Okay. When I was in pre-K here at FSS, my class put on a skit of The Mitten, a children's book. We had been working on it all week, but when it came time to perform, I was out sick. I was sad to not be there, so my teachers shared a video of the performance with my family to watch. I sat in my dad's office chair, and my spirits were immediately lifted as I watched all of my friends have fun. When writing the speech, I decided to go back and reread The Mitten. What I learned is this book has so much relevance for our class as we move on to our next step. In this story, a boy loses his mitten in the woods. First, a small mole stumbles upon the mitten and burrows itself into it. As the day goes on, more animals, each one bigger than the one before it, stumble upon the mitten and cram into it, seeking warmth. Every time it seems like there's no more room, a new animal, from a small hedgehog to a large bear, approaches, and the others find room for them. Though none of the creatures knew each other, they all came together to stay safe and warm in this mitten. Eventually, they get pushed out because they stretch the mitten too far, and all of the animals get scattered in different directions. They go their separate ways, and the boy rediscovers his expanded mitten floating in the wind. And though it is completely stretched out, he is glad to have it back. To me, Friends Select is the mitten, and our class are all of the people who have found their warmth and safety in it. Some of us joined when we were small in pre-K and kindergarten, like the mole, while some of us joined when we were older in high school, like the bear. Along the way, we have always welcomed and found space for new students and friends. But now we've outgrown our mitten, and we no longer fit here, and it's time for us to be scattered in all different directions. Just like the boy's stretched out mitten, FSS will stay, but our class will have left a permanent impact. Throughout my time at FSS, I have learned not just to enjoy my own successes and activities, but to get as much joy from watching my classmates. While I felt celebrated by my peers on the field hockey field, at softball games, and during art showcases, I have also had the opportunity to celebrate them in Mamma Mia, World Cafe Live, basketball games, and countless other activities where they showcase their diverse talents and passions. Because of our closeness, I am overjoyed when my classmates succeed. Some might know that I get very emotional and sentimental when talking about graduation. I truly believe that this is because I've become accustomed to being able to watch my friends grow and thrive right in front of my eyes. I've been so privileged to nurture my friendships, support others, and be supported in this environment for so long. As we all start out for our next step, I will at first be sad to go away. But I know my spirits will be lifted, just like in pre-K when I sat in my dad's desk chair to watch the class recording of the Mitten skit. I will sit in my dorm's desk chair and hear about my now former classmates. I will enjoy seeing how they flourish in their studies, sports, social lives, and more. While it will be an adjustment, I am so excited to continue to be able to get that same happiness by watching their new successes, even from afar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lily. That was really beautiful. Now we will hear a musical performance by seniors Charlie Chen and Annalise DeChico.
Thank you, Charlie and Annalise. May we please give these young people another round of applause. My name is Norman Bayard, and I'm the Upper School Dean of Students, and I have had the pleasure to be with your beautiful young people these past 4 years. I started here at Friends Select with them, and I'm going to introduce my favorite portion of the program, Meeting for Worship. As you can see in your programs, Meeting for Worship is a time of reflection and centering. You may feel moved to share a message that will be communal. Communal. Do me a favor. Take your fingers and point who you're here to see. We're pointing at everyone. Our message is communal. And this message is for the good of all of us gathered here. In other words, speak to the group. Speak to the community, because it takes a village, yes? If you feel moved to speak, please stand and speak loudly for everyone to hear. Loud to the point where we all have a cloud of witnesses, some folks say. Our departed loved ones who are no longer here. Speak so those cloud of witnesses can hear you. Speak because you are their earth witnesses. After you speak, this is what makes this time really special. We ask that you leave a little bit of time for silence in between messages so that we all can reflect on your message. We end Meeting for Worship by shaking hands. This morning, Meeting for Worship will end when Michael Gary shakes hands with Ingrid Lakey. At that point, we invite you to follow suit and shake hands with friends and neighbors. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Natalie Mayer, the Dean of Academics of the Upper School. It is wonderful to see everybody here today, and that was a wonderful meeting. We will now hear from our two student speakers, Noah Bonner Monastra and Jacob Miller.
To be honest, I'm shocked that we aren't laughing right now. Usually, Noah would be making a joke in my ear about something he just saw. Then I'd start laughing quietly. Then he'd start laughing loudly. Then we get the death stare from 3 different teachers.
We've both been at this school for over 13 years, but Jake and I first became friends in 2nd grade.
We were always in the same friend group, played the same sports, and lived close to each other. However, we grew an incredibly strong bond during the pandemic.
When we transitioned from in-person learning to online school in March of 2020, I wasn't interacting with anyone from school unless I was confused about homework, which was a pretty common occurrence. One day, out of boredom, I decided to FaceTime Jake in the middle of one of my classes. Obviously, this was completely against the rules of online school, but I was bored. 3 years later, I have a friend I consider my brother, a second home, and a furry little companion in his dog Roxy.
We can't talk about our incredible experience at Friend Select without going through our younger years. Michael Vick visited our class in kindergarten. I dropped the glass ball in the iconic 2nd grade play. And we both helped create a comic book vending machine in 4th grade.
Throughout middle school, Jake and I were committed cross-country athletes, running on the turf roof every day during the fall.
In 8th grade, we were elected to be captains of the team. Typical captains would not argue with each other during stretches, almost miss a race to make a group handshake, or get kicked out of practice. But we loved the opportunity to build a fun culture on the team.
Entering high school, our grade was immature but curious and enthusiastic. 6 months into our freshman year, we were forced to transition to remote learning. We didn't have time to develop close relationships with one another and missed out on the window to turn school friends into real friends.
Noah and I took advantage of online class, learning how to mute, unmute, and even kick people out of the call. During one class, we went rogue, muting and unmuting students and eventually wiping out almost the entire class, leaving the few that remained in utter disbelief. Sorry, Malik.
In sophomore year, our friend groups were further torn apart. Gender dynamics, hybrid learning, and COVID anxiety resulted in small friend groups that didn't really branch out. At the beginning of this school year, our grade took a rafting trip to the Poconos. What started as a calm, peaceful activity turned into a war zone, with everyone throwing water at each other and flipping boats upside down. Our grade came together as we were all able to playfully compete against one another.
In our senior year, our grade has learned to support each other. We rallied together for the first concert at World Cafe Live since early 2020, supporting our musician classmates during performances. So many of us, performers and audience members, collaborated to pack up the gear and transfer it through the rain to school.
In the gym on Friday nights, basketball players battled it out on the court while classmates cheered them on from the stands. In mid-January, many seniors led Social Justice Week track groups, educating our peers on various topics from gun violence to prison reform.
We've grown from a disconnected group of kids to a tight-knit grade that works together. As we prepare to leave Friend Select and embark on our individual journeys, we'll never forget the laughter, the friendships, and the shared experiences that have shaped us into the resilient and united class we are today. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah and Jacob. And as their advanced biology teacher, I'm embarrassed to say that I might have been one of those teachers that gave you the death stare. But the fact that you just got through that speech without laughing is a sign of what's to come. We will now hear a musical performance from Rosie Taranta, Sophia Solari Paravicini, and Sammy Giganti.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I could offer you a warm embrace to make you feel my love. When the shadows and the stars appear, and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for 1,000,000 years to make you feel my love. Yet, but I would never do you wrong. I've known it from the moment that we met, no doubt in my mind where you belong. I'd go hungry, I'd go black and blue, I'd go crawling down the avenue. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. Storms are raging on the rolling seas and on the highway of regret. The winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I could make you happy, make your dreams come true. Nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you, to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Thank you, Sammy, Sophia, and Rosie. Each year at graduation, we recognize students whose tenure at Friends Select measures 13 and 14 years. Students, as I read your names, please stand to be recognized. Students in the 13 and 14-year clubs have attended Friends Select since kindergarten or pre-K. Peyton Myers, Jacob Miller, Giselle Savinsky, Max Savinsky, Stan Wang, Ezra Wing, Lucia Yeager Johnson are members of the 13-year club. Students in the 14-year club, you have been here since pre-K. Noah Bonner Monastra, Lily Bren, Becca Boucher, Annalise DeChico, Sammy Giganti, Jack Kessler, Campbell Lee, Hayden Pastor, Sophia Solari Paracini, and Rosie Taranta. We thank them for their lifelong dedication to their learning, and we thank their families' commitment to and trust Friends Select School. Now we will hear from our fourth student speaker, Sophia Solari Paracini.
There comes a certain point where Friends Select isn't just the place you go, but it's part of who you are. Teachers aren't just your authority figures, but they're also supporters and friends. Years from now, Friends Select will have made an impact on how all of us conduct ourselves in the world and how we will engage within our new communities. Since pre-K, our teachers have infused us with the importance of Quaker testimonies. I want to talk about 3 of those values today: community, stewardship, and advocacy. At Friends Select, kindness is not viewed as a chore or as a bonus, but as the expectation and the norm. My first real memory at this school was one of the very first days of pre-K during after school in the gym. I was a shy and very scared girl who had no intentions of initiating any interactions with my fellow 5-year-olds. As I looked around for the perfect corner to quietly sit in alone, 2 tiny girls, one with curly golden hair and the other with long, dark brown hair accompanied by a pink bow, asked me if I would be the monkey in their game of Monkey in the Middle. Fast forward 14 whole years, and a game of Monkey in the Middle has turned into lifelong friendships. I have seen repeated examples of students being willing to include a lonely classmate in a playground game in the lower school, at the lunch table in the middle school, and finally in clubs, theater productions, the music department, and sports in the upper school. I also learned lessons about stewardship. Earlier this year, the 3 other leaders of the Helping Hands Club and I hosted a can drive for Fill Abundance as our very first fundraiser. We set up 4 small cardboard boxes, wrapped them in colored paper, and placed them in Ray Street Circle. To our surprise, the donations completely overwhelmed our measly boxes, and they had all fallen apart. A disorganized pile of cans and ripped up cardboard lived in the hallway for the rest of the day. When the 3 other leaders and I returned to the mess to repair the damage, a large group of students from all grades were already reconstructing boxes and creating new ones. They had used their rare free time to fix a problem that was not even theirs. I later realized that this action, however, was just a perfect example of what Friends Select actually stands for. To serve the world, but not for the reward of recognition, but for the reward of our community being made just a little bit better. One unique form of service that our grade has provided is in teaching underclassmen about Friends Select culture. We are the very last class to have experienced what high school was like at Friends Select before COVID completely changed the way we operate. We intended in-person meeting for worship, World Cafe Live, Social Justice Week, and sports seasons before the pandemic changed everything. After 2 years of virtual learning and disruption, our class took the lead in rebuilding what normal looked like. In doing so, we stewarded our community forward, and not because we had to, but because we care so deeply about preserving this school that cares for us back. Lastly, we learned about advocacy. One of my very favorite traits about Friends Select is that the school fosters self-education. In doing so, it promotes ambitious students to ask, how can I make the community better? Starting in lower and middle school, we've collectively held each other and the school accountable in the push for social change. As Gloria Steinem said, we need to remember across generations that there is as much to learn as there is to teach. This grade exhibits prime examples of what it means to constructively and respectfully teach in order to break down social constructs. Advocating for yourself is never easy, but it is especially difficult to present critiques to adults on the topics of race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, and more. Throughout the years, we've played parts in successfully challenging the dress code, presented to the faculty about harmful gender dynamics in the classroom, participated in walkouts and protests, and most of all, we've explored and shared with the community our passions that stem from our complex and diverse identities. If you scan your eyes throughout the rows behind me, you're looking at the leaders of clubs like Diversity Clerks, our affinity groups, Helping Hands, the Falcon, and many more. We will all go on to become teachers in our new communities where there is still work to be done. After our last day of classes ended, all of the seniors gathered in the hallways, hugging and crying. We felt like we were really saying our last goodbyes. Maybe our reactions were slightly melodramatic, as we're all here today, back together. But I don't believe that we will ever truly leave Friends Select. Instead, we will take it with us. And in doing so, we can all bring the values of community, stewardship, and advocacy to the world. Thank you.
I was wondering who it was. It's me. Thank you, Sophia. That was really beautiful. We will now hear a musical performance from Annalise DeChico.
snow-covered hills to the landside brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, even children get older, and we're getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I've built my life around you. And time makes you bolder, even children get older, and we're getting older too. We're getting older too. Ah, take this love, take it down. I climbed a mountain and it turned around, and if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. If you see your reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. If you see your reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down.
I don't know about you, but I'm a mess. Thank you, Annalise. Thank you. Today is about very many feelings, and I'm having all of them. I'm Ingrid Lakey. I'm the chair of the Board of Trustees, a graduate from the class of '89, and the proud parent of a Friends Select School student in the class of 2027. It is my honor to introduce Amy Cohen, class of 1982, a Friends Select School lifer who has been a supportive and engaged alum who you may know from her collaborative work last March highlighting abolitionist and activist Anna Elizabeth Dickinson with a historical marker on Broad and Arch Streets. Amy taught social studies at Masterman Middle and High School, served as director of education for the documentary film company History Making Productions, and is a frequent contributor to Hidden City Philadelphia. Her first book, Black History in the Philadelphia Landscape, Deep Roots, Continuing Legacy, will be published by Temple University Press in January 2024. We are so honored to have Amy with us today.
I want to share with you the very first sentence of the acknowledgments section of my book that will be published in early 2024. Quote, "My 7th grade English teacher, Gaynell Lewis Fleming, taught me how to write. My high school social studies teacher, Jean Couric, inspired my love of history, and 13 years of Quaker education at Friends Select School inculcated me with a commitment to pursuing social justice." Let's start with learning how to write. Clear writing cannot be separated from clear thinking. And the person who gave me the fundamentals of word choice, grammar, punctuation, voice, and so forth was teacher Gaynell. I am sure that each of you have gained similar skills, and you are soon to learn how the ability to write will make the transition to college much easier for you than for your future peers who have not had the gift of a Friends Select education. In fact, one of my greatest struggles during my 2 decades as a middle and high school social studies teacher was that I could not give my students' writing the attention it deserved. With up to 33 students in a class, it was nearly impossible to find the time to guide students through the rigorous process of writing, editing, and rewriting that you and I experienced in our much smaller classes at Friends Select. Jean Couric was my teacher every year of high school and remained a friend and mentor throughout my life. Although Jean passed away at the age of 100 in April, his influence on me and many others has not diminished. His creative and engaging lessons piqued my interest and motivated me to become a college history major and a teacher of social studies. Jean's classes, however, were about much more than learning about the past. In his gentle, jokey, humble way, he was also teaching us to be good people. Jean often said, "Maturity is knowing what's right and doing it." When I find myself at a crossroads, tempted to ignore a problem or a person, considering an ever so slightly unethical action, or eager to share a juicy piece of gossip or a secret told to me in confidence, it is Jean's adage that puts me on the right path. Well, most of the time. But the most significant way that my 13 years at Friends Select has influenced my life is the message of social justice that was an intrinsic part of each class throughout every school year. My beloved kindergarten teacher, Teacher Emily, wore a necklace I can still picture. It said, "War is not healthy for children and other living things." And similar lessons, both overt and subtle, continued from lower school through graduation. It is because of my Friends Select education that, for better or for worse, I participated in a citizen's arrest of CIA recruiters on my college campus. Friends Select explains why I joined the Peace Corps, became a teacher, chose to live in an integrated neighborhood, and launched a nonprofit that supports the education of the children of street vendors in Antigua, Guatemala. When I started college, my naivete was such that I didn't realize that the inclusion of social justice issues in the curriculum was not the norm. Thus, unfortunately, I didn't really appreciate this aspect of Friends Select until I had already left. I am pretty certain, and now I'm actually certain, having heard the last speaker, that high school seniors today are more sophisticated than my classmates and I when we occupied the seats on the facing bench behind me. Speaking of that day, when my classmates and I graduated in 1982, I want to talk about another valuable aspect of Friends Select. You are about to become part of a vast and interesting network of folks, the Friends Select Alumni Association. Like me, other alums are waiting to welcome you to the club. And don't think I can't read the thought bubbles over your heads. Some of them say, I can't wait to get away from these people. Others say, once I leave this place, I am never coming back. And I feel you, believe me. I was a lifer. 13 years is a very long time to be in one school. But as the weeks and months, more likely the years, go by, your feelings will change. You have shared so much during a crucial period of your lives. Trust me, you are sitting among lifelong friends, and you will even want to come visit teachers and staff at Friends Select. Indeed, the preface to my book I mentioned earlier was written by Wendell Pritchett, a classmate of mine from second grade on. A quick story. A few summers ago, Wendell introduced me to his nephew, who had just finished kindergarten at Friends Select. Grant, he said, this is my friend Amy, and guess what? We went to Friends Select together. Grant looked at Wendell, looked at me, looked at Wendell, looked at me. You mean Friends Select used to be for grown-ups? So, class of 2023, I wish you all the best in your coming endeavors. I know that you have the skills, the passion, the commitment, and the networks to go out there and change the world. Finally, with this challenge now presented to you, it is my absolute honor to not only congratulate you, but to formally welcome the class of 2023 to the Alumni Association of Friends Select School. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Ingrid. And all of our student speakers, thank you. Before we award diplomas, I would like to read a sample diploma. This diploma is one of member of the 14-year club. And it reads, Friends Select School, Philadelphia. This certifies that Noah Edward Bonner Monestra has completed the prescribed course of study at Friends Select School, and testimony whereof this diploma is issued, signed by the officers of the Board of Trustees and the head of school this 10th day of the 6th month, 2023. Friends, I am very happy now to award diplomas to the class of 2023.
Good morning. Can the back row please stand? Noah Edward Bonner Monestra. Lily Davia Bryn. Rebecca Rothbard Boucher. Adrian Lamont Caldwell, Jr. Charlie Chen. May Kathleen Colgan. Tamia Mackay Davis. Annalise Rose DeChico. Boris Alec Romeo Duke. Che Ali Ewell. Marley Day Ewell. Giovanni Emerson Cericio Fornia. Samantha Ruth Giganti. Ava Rose Greenbaum. Bao Tai Hun. Tian Shi Ju. Ruel Ishmael Kamau. John Aiden Kessler. Can the middle row please stand? Lena Logan Kinzer. Christian Tyler Kirkland. Campbell David Lee. You're welcome. Joe Lee. Xinyi Liao. Evan Mark Liddy. Jean-Mo Liu. Gianna Sofia Malfitano. Peyton L. Myers. Jacob Solomon Miller. Hayden Isaac Pastor. Henry Ezekiel Planet. Candida Amparo Porter. Rafi Shanif Randolph. Congrats, Rafi. Barrett Leaf Richardson. Lucy Joy Rupertus. Marshall Creighton Searles. Jacob Stanley Sherman. Sophia Blanche Solari Paravicini. Giselle Tila Savinsky. Maximus Ethan Savinsky. Oh, sorry. Thank you for standing front row, sorry. Christian Junsu Sun. Lila Rose Siegel Toronto. Oh. Thank you, Noah. Watch that you don't slip. Uma Lee Vincent. Stan Wang. Ezra Jude Wing. Lucia Gabrielle Yeager Johnson. Sing Yu Zhou. Please join me in congratulating the class of 2023.
Class of 2023. When I was preparing these remarks, several fond memories came to mind. At the recent upper school awards ceremony, I was so moved by how loudly and enthusiastically you applauded classmates who received awards that evening. At the meeting for worship dedicated to thanking seniors, the sincerity with which students and faculty alike expressed their appreciation for the impact you made on them was so sweet. At our concert at Cafe Live, seeing you owning the stage with such confidence and joy filled me with enormous pride. And I must add, I will never see Henry Planet the same after that performance. Wow, it was great. And then I had the pleasure of seeing the closing performance of Clue. Oh my. Not only was the production outstanding, but so was the expression of appreciation to seniors who played some role in making the production happen. I was actually moved to tears. The tradition of giving flowers, literally and figuratively, to seniors in the production was so beautiful and emotionally moving. It's moments like these that are special and memorable. They allow us to be in community, singing together, laughing together, celebrating together, appreciating each other, and seeing each other, deepening our sense of belonging to something bigger than ourselves. May the many memories you have about Friends Select School, about your experiences, nourish you for many years. Graduating today from Friends Select is another one of these moments that needs to be savored. Graduation is a milestone like no other in one's life, especially given the obstacles like the COVID pandemic that we all had to navigate. You've fulfilled all the requirements that had to be met by many graduates before you, which prepared many graduates over our long, illustrious school history for their journeys beyond our fine school. There will never be another class assembled again like the class of 2023. The friendships you've developed over the time shouldn't be taken for granted, but should be protected. The memories you created together, you will always have. Today, in this meeting house, listen to your classmates' speeches, receiving your diplomas, and having loved ones here to celebrate your accomplishments is a moment. Visually, viscerally, cognitively, emotionally, and experientially, take it all in. Take it all in. Be present. Make it a beautiful moment. I want to encourage you to seize these moments. As you leave us to join a new community, I want to share with you a paradigm to consider. It has helped me with self-care for over 30 years. The paradigm is called the emotional bank account, and it's the creation of Stephen Covey, the best-selling American author and educator whose book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, sold over 15 million copies. Find those moments, find those events, find those people, find those activities and places that fill you, Curate experiences that will fill you and invest in your relationships with others. And then seek to make more emotional deposits than you make withdrawals. As we send you off to commence the next chapter in your lives, know that you are more than prepared. Now, with a little more wisdom, a little more experience, a little more discernment, maturity, forge new relationships and confront new challenges. Be the curator of fond memories. Don't forget. People remember how you make them feel more than what you say. And that EI, emotional intelligence, is more important than AI, artificial intelligence. Commence knowing that your Friends Select community will always be here for you and that we will miss you. I leave you reading the school's alma mater. Years to come, I will look back with a smile on my face moments of my select years at this friendly place. Lifelong learners we will always be, and we strive to share the gifts of our community. Here's to Friends Select, the home and school in one. We'll take with us what we have learned here when the day is done. Students here will come and go, but the message will remain: to show respect for everyone, for we are all the same. Lifelong learners we will always be, and strive to share the gift of our community. Here's to Friends Select, my home and school in one. We'll take with us what we have learned here when the day is done. Congratulations to the class of 2023. At this time, I wish to thank the Senior Class Gift Committee and the families of our graduating class for your collective giving to the Senior Class Gift. This year, the families of the class of 2023 have contributed more than $160,000 to support the Friends Select Fund. If you haven't yet, I hope you will consider making a senior class gift as a way to honor your child, a special teacher, or a coach who has made a difference in your life. Thank you to the senior class parents. And I would like to take a moment now to ask the faculty and staff to please stand so they can be recognized for all the care they put into work every day to ensure that this day is possible. Without them, it would not be possible. Thank you, faculty and staff. Now we will conclude graduation with Campbell Lee and Lucy Wabertis.
Smile
Friends, join me in congratulating the class of 2023 and their families one more time. In a moment, the graduates will process out to the meeting house courtyard where they will have their senior class pictures taken. Please wait here for a few minutes after the seniors exit to give the photographers time to take the photograph. There's also a small gift in the courtyard for each of our new alums. Please check in with Molly and Pam outside to pick it up. Graduates, as a reminder, our motto is the whole of life. We wish you well on your journey, and we welcome you back to visit us whenever you want. You will be missed and celebrated for years to come. Congratulations, and this now concludes the graduation ceremony. Good morning.